What happened?
He was fixing the fence and just fell over. It looks like a heart attack. Quick, oxygen. Let's bring him up.
Careful. Now. Keep the heart massage going.
All units stand by, less emergency traffic.
Good thing they got here in a hurry.
Where are they taking him? Will he be okay?
They'll get him to a hospital right away. He'll be all right.
This isn't just movie stuff. This happens thousands of times every day. Diseases of the heart and blood vessels cause more deaths in the United States than all other causes of death combined. And it isn't just older people who have diseased arteries. Unhealthy arteries often start when kids are in their teens. Most problems start here in the arteries. As arteries leave the heart, they branch and grow progressively smaller, becoming arterioles and finally capillaries. Here is a microscopic picture of extremely small blood vessels. This is an arteriole. And this is a small vein carrying blood back to the heart. You can judge the size of the vessels when you realize that each of these discs is a single blood cell. Arteries aren't simple tubes, as you might suppose. The outer layer is a fibrous coat that gives the artery strength. The middle layer is muscle that contracts the artery after it distends with each heartbeat. The inner layer is a thin, smooth membrane. You can actually see an arteriole contracting and relaxing. Watch. The heart, a complicated pumping machine, creates pressure in the arterioles just as any pump would. There is greater pressure just at this moment as the heart drives in a fresh quantity of blood. Then, as it relaxes, there is a period of less pressure. A doctor measures your blood pressure with an instrument like this. He takes one reading as the heart contracts, perhaps 120. Then another reading when it relaxes, perhaps 80. Now, if something happens in your body to make the small vessels contract, the heart has to pump harder to force blood through the contracted vessels, and blood pressure rises. But when it stays high, it's not normal. That's called high blood pressure, or hypertension. There's another major disease of the arteries. The inner layer, normally thin and smooth, can become thick and irregular. Some passageways may become so narrowed that they can't deliver enough blood. At rough points, clots may form, which can cut off the flow of the blood. This is called atherosclerosis. Or sometimes, if there is high blood pressure, a diseased vessel may break. Diseased arteries can occur in any part of the body, but when they're in the heart, the result can be a heart attack. If in the brain, they can cause a stroke. The heart has its own blood vessels needed to bring it food and oxygen. And since a heart can't stop working even for a minute during a whole lifetime, it's important that nothing happens to the supply lines. In a live heart, you can see only a few surface vessels. But these penetrate into the muscle wall, branching until the wall is interwoven through and through. When atherosclerosis occurs in these arteries, the narrowing may happen slowly over many months. If so, the body does a remarkable thing. Other arteries grow into the area to provide the food and oxygen needed. But the supply may still not be enough. The person has pain. This is a condition called angina. There may be an even more serious result. At points like this, the blood has a tendency to form a clot. The final closing of the artery may be quite sudden. If the artery is fairly large, a good-sized area of the heart is suddenly deprived of blood, with the result that part of the heart muscle actually dies from lack of food and oxygen. This is what is known as a heart attack. When the diseased vessel is in the head, a stroke can occur. Strokes usually happen to older people, but they can even occur when you're young.
Okay. Up again. Good.
More than any other cells in our bodies, nerve cells in the brain need a continuous supply of food and oxygen. This can be cut off if a clot forms in an artery leading to the brain. A clot may break loose and be carried up until it gets wedged in a small vessel. A clot may form in a vessel in the brain, or a vessel may break. If the blood flow is cut off for any length of time, nerve cells in that area will die for lack of food and oxygen. This is called a stroke. Since different parts of the brain control different parts of the body, damage here, for instance, may cause loss of speech. In another place, difficulty with memory. Here, weakness in muscles of the arm. Or a stroke may cause paralysis throughout one side of the body. After a stroke, the same kind of repair job gets started that occurs when there is damage to the heart muscle. Neighboring arteries get larger and grow into the damaged part. Many nerve cells that have been put out of order start to work again. Because of this, people who have had a stroke are often able to get back a great deal of the use of parts of their bodies that had been paralyzed.
Last one. Great. Perfect.
Diseases of the blood vessels is a very serious matter. It often ends in heart attacks and strokes. Not all people who have heart attacks and strokes will die. Many go on to survive and lead useful and productive lives. Wouldn't it be nice, though, if diseased vessels didn't occur in the first place? Back in the 1900s, a heart attack was a rare event. It was indeed newsworthy, but it isn't so today. Heart disease that occurs today is often caused by the kinds of habits we have chosen.
Can you tell us why you smoke?
It's just something to do. All my friends smoke. Why shouldn't I? I don't know. I just started, and now I'm hooked.
Have you read the health warning on cigarette packages?
Yeah, I've read it, but I've never seen anyone drop over dead.
Yeah, hazardous to your health. So what?
Yeah, I don't care what it says. All my friends smoke, right, guys?
In fact, people who smoke for a number of years are many times more likely to have a heart attack than people who don't. Many times, stress can help us to perform better.
You make me sick! Shut up!
Don't you ever ask me for anything again!
But if stress becomes part of a life pattern, it can be a dangerous factor in diseases of the arteries. Another problem relates to eating. People who are overweight are more likely to get diseased arteries. Eating foods with a lot of animal fats and cholesterol can cause the buildup of deposits on the walls of the arteries. Americans are notorious for letting machines do their work for them. People who eat fatty foods and then don't exercise to work it off are very likely to end up with diseased arteries.
One of the things that worries us in the medical profession is that it just isn't old people that have diseases of the heart and arteries. It occurs in the young. An extensive study was done of soldiers who died during the Korean War. Examination of their arteries showed that almost 60% of them had atherosclerosis sufficiently advanced to make them candidates for a sudden heart attack. That's something worth thinking about. One of the things that concerns me is that when we're young, we never think about not being young or ever having a body that is not seriously diseased.
Let's all go swimming down at the lake tomorrow. It'll be really
Health only seems important when we don't have it.